Okay, imagine this for a second. What if you could wake up tomorrow and every day after with this deep sense of purpose, feeling completely aligned with who you really are, moving through life without, hesitation or fear? What if the key to that wasn't out there somewhere, but it's actually always been inside you?
That's exactly it. That's what we're diving into today. Our mission really is to explore the powerful, maybe even radical ideas of Friedrich Nietzsche. He was a philosopher who just wasn't afraid to challenge everything, societal norms, expectations. He pushed people to become their highest selves. It's going to be quite a journey, maybe a challenging one, but I think incredibly rewarding.
Okay, so becoming our highest selves, where does Nietzsche think we usually go wrong? What's holding most people back from that?
Well, Nietzsche was pretty convinced that most people never really reach their full potential. They get stuck, trapped in cycles of just fitting in, seeking comfort, and frankly, doubting themselves. Think about it. From when we're young, society gives us this script, right? It tells us who to be, what's important, how to act. And you get rewarded for following it, for fitting neatly into the box.
Right, for being acceptable.
Exactly. And Nietzsche saw this as a huge trap, a dangerous, because the cost, he argued, is your individuality. You lose touch with your authentic self. You end up living as, well, he called it a mere shadow of who you could truly be.
Wow. It really makes you pause and think, doesn't it? I mean, have you ever felt that deep down there's another version, maybe stronger, wiser, more powerful than the person you show the world every day?
And that feeling, Nietzsche would say, that's not just wishful thinking. He believed that inside every single person, there's this immense untapped potential. If you could awaken it, he thought, it leads to a life of real fulfillment, self-realization. He gave it a name, the Übermensch, often translated as overman.
The Übermensch. Okay.
Yeah, and it's really important to get this right. It's not about being superior to other people, not at all. It's about an individual who has overcome their own limitation, their own inner struggles, someone who becomes the fullest, most authentic expression of themselves. It's like the ultimate human potential within reach.
That sounds incredible, inspiring even. But this is where Nietzsche gets a bit uncomfortable, right? This kind of transformation. It doesn't come easy. It's not about comfort.
Absolutely not. Not even close. Nietzsche argued pretty forcefully, actually, that suffering isn't something you should try to dodge. In fact, he thought you need to embrace it. He saw struggle, hardship as a necessary force. It's what shapes you, what strengthens you.
That famous line, "What does not kill me makes me stronger."
Exactly. And that wasn't just, a catchy phrase for him. It was a fundamental truth about how we grow, how we overcome ourselves. Think about it in your own life. Those really tough times, the failures, the heartbreaks, the big disappointments. Were they just there to crush you? Or maybe, just maybe, were they opportunities, chances to rise above, to become something more?
That's a powerful reframe.
Nietzsche thought so. He believed hardship is like a test, a crucible. It reveals your true character, your depth. He argued that people who only ever seek comfort, they stay, weak, unformed. But those who face adversity head on, with courage, they emerge transformed, stronger.
Okay, so embracing hardship, that's one big piece. But then there's this other huge idea you mentioned, that meaning isn't something we find, it's something we have to create. That feels radical.
It really is. I mean, think how many people spend their lives searching for some kind of preordained purpose, looking for signs, for external validation about what they're meant to do. Nietzsche just rejected that whole idea flat out.
Yeah.
He believed life itself doesn't come with built-in meaning. None. Zero. The only meaning it has is the meaning we choose to give it.
Wow. Okay, so that's...
It's terrifying, right? But also incredibly liberating. Think about it. No destiny pulling your strings. No pre-written script you just have to follow. You are basically the author of your own story. Every page is blank until you write on it.
Which, if we're the authors, forces that really difficult question. Are you actually living your story? Or are you just playing a role, a part someone else assigned you?
And that ties right into another key concept for Nietzsche.
Yeah.
The herd mentality. He was very critical of this very human tendency we have to just follow the crowd, go with the flow without asking why or where it's going.
Because it feels safer, more predictable.
Exactly. The herd offers safe predictability, belonging, all-powerful lures. But the price, conformity. And conformity for Nietzsche stifles your individuality. It smothers it.
So to become who you're meant to be, you have to be willing to step away from the herd sometimes.
Yes, you have to be willing. It doesn't necessarily mean becoming a total hermit, rejecting society completely, but it absolutely means thinking critically, questioning the values you've just absorbed, and deciding for yourself which ones truly resonate with who you are deep down.
That takes courage, though. Standing alone isn't easy.
It takes immense courage to forge your own path, especially when it goes against the grain, against expectations.
Yeah.
It means embracing the discomfort of uncertainty, because real growth, it rarely happens inside your comfort zone. And Nietzsche was blunt about this too. Transformation often requires destruction. Yeah, letting go. Destroying old identities that no longer serve you. Outdated beliefs holding you back. Limiting fears that keep you playing small. You have to be willing to step into the unknown, to risk failure, to endure hardship, because it's only by going through those fires that you can emerge as something greater.
Okay, this is deep stuff. So if someone listening is feeling this, thinking, okay, I want this transformation, what are the actual steps? How do you start? How do you break free, turn struggle into strength, all of that? Where does the work begin?
It begins fundamentally with self-awareness, radical self-awareness. Nietzsche thought most people go through life without ever truly knowing themselves. Why? Because they're too busy trying to live up to everyone else's expectations.
So they adopt beliefs and desires that aren't really theirs.
Precisely. They mistake all that social conditioning for their actual identity. So the first crucial step is asking, who am I, really? Beneath all the layers. If you could strip away your upbringing, your culture, what everyone else thinks, what's authentically left?
That sounds potentially uncomfortable.
Oh, it often is. Very uncomfortable. Because you might start to realize that a lot of what you thought was you, it was just a mask, a role you learned to play. But Nietzsche saw this kind of deep self-examination as the absolute foundation, the bedrock of personal power.
Okay, so self-awareness is the foundation. What comes next? You mentioned self-overcoming earlier. How's that different from just, say, self-improvement?
That's a great question. Self-overcoming, in Nietzsche's view, is more relentless. It's about constantly challenging yourself, pushing beyond your current limits, your fears, actively evolving into someone stronger, wiser, more capable. It's not a destination you reach. It's a lifelong process, a continuous striving.
A process, not a project with an end date.
Exactly. He warned that people who don't actively strive, who don't push themselves, they just stagnate. They get stuck in mediocrity, dissatisfaction, and often they become resentful. They start blaming the world, blaming others for their own unfulfilled potential.
The victim mentality.
Right. Instead of taking what Nietzsche called radical responsibility for their own growth, their own lives. It's a stark mess, but essential. No one's coming to rescue you. No external force is going to magically grant your life meaning. If your life is going to have meaning, you have to create it from within. You have to turn your pain into wisdom, your obstacles into opportunity. And this leads right back to his warning about comfort. He called excessive comfort a silent killer. Sounds dramatic, but he meant it weakens your spirit. It dulls your will to strive, to become. It leads paradoxically to emptiness, to a sense of deep unfulfillment. So he urged us passionately to do the opposite. Lean into the difficult, willingly walk into the fire of hardship, because that's the only path to real strength, real transformation.
It makes sense when you put it like that. Think about your own life, right? When did you feel most alive, truly engaged? Was it when everything was easy, smooth sailing? Or was it during those times you had to overcome something hard? The moments that really define us, they're rarely
Exactly. They're the test, the crucible. That's why Nietzsche had such admiration for people who embrace struggle. He saw them as true creators, the ones who refused to just let life happen to them. They took control. They grabbed the reins and shaped their own destiny.
Which brings us to amor fati, is that right?
Fati. Yeah, the love of fate. It's one of his most beautiful and maybe challenging concepts. It's this radical idea. Instead of fighting against or resenting the challenges life throws your way and will throw them, you embrace them fully, even. Lovingly, seeing them as necessary parts of your unique path.
So it's not about liking the pain, but accepting it as part of the whole picture.
Exactly. It's not passive resignation. It's not ignoring the herd. It's a profound mindset shift. You train yourself to see every challenge as a lesson, every setback as an opportunity, every failure as a stepping stone. You use the pain, the difficulty as fuel for your growth. Once you start viewing life through that lens, honestly, you become pretty unstoppable.
Okay, that's a powerful mindset. But even with that, there's still fear, right? That feels like a huge obstacle for so many of us, like this invisible cage keeping us stuck, whispering, stay safe, don't risk it.
Oh, absolutely. Fear is huge, and precisely because it's such a powerful force, Nietzsche argued you don't avoid it, you master it. He basically said, do the thing you fear most. Go towards it. Not because the fear will vanish, it might not, but because courage isn't the absence of fear, it's acting despite the fear.
Courage is built through action.
Exactly. He saw fear as a test, a dividing line between those who stay stagnant and those who choose to rise. But he also warned about another trap, one that's maybe more subtle, more insidious: resentment.
Resentment. Blaming others.
Yes, blaming others, blaming the world, blaming circumstances for your own lack of progress, your own unhappiness. It's the victim mindset again, seeing yourself as powerless rather than as the creator of your own experience. And resentment is so dangerous because you're literally giving away your power. Every time you blame, you weaken yourself.
So the powerful individual takes responsibility.
Radical responsibility. That's the key. They don't waste energy complaining about fairness. They understand. Okay, I might not control what happens to me, but I always control how I respond. That power can never be taken away.
Wow. Okay. This whole journey, it seems to build towards something.
Yeah.
And you mentioned his most radical idea. Eternal recurrence.
Ah, yes. Eternal recurrence. This is a big one. Maybe unsettling for some. It's a thought experiment. Imagine this. You have to live this exact life you're living right now. Every single detail, every choice, every mistake, every joy, every sorrow. Imagine living it again and again and again, endlessly, for all eternity, exactly the same way.
Oh, wow. Okay.
What's the purpose of imagining something so intense? It forces you to ask one piercing question. If you had to relive this life forever, would you be proud? Would you look at the choices you're making right now and say, yes, bring it on again? Or would the thought fill you with dread, with regret?
So if it fills you with regret,
Come back,
something needs to change now.
Precisely.
Yeah.
It's an ultimate call to action.
Yeah.
It's not just about thinking differently. It's about acting differently. Making those bold decisions you've been putting off. Stepping into the discomfort you've been avoiding. Embracing the unknown. It's about becoming the kind of person who would enthusiastically say yes to living their life again, exactly as it is.
And that starts
Small.
daily
Yeah.
choices.
It has to. Small, daily acts of courage. Making choices based on who you want to become. Not just who you've been. Actively rewriting that internal story from I can't or I'm afraid to I will try. Nietzsche believed the real tragedy wasn't failing. It was never even trying because you were too afraid of failing. Hesitation was the enemy. Playing it safe. The cost of that, he thought, is far, far higher than the cost of taking a risk and falling short. Because what you'll truly regret are the chances you didn't take.
And all of this culminates really in that ultimate idea, the Übermensch. That's the key. The Übermensch isn't just someone who breaks free or conquers fear or takes responsibility. It's deeper. This is the individual who transcends the ordinary because they create their own values, their own purpose, their own meaning.
They don't just follow rules, they make their own.
Exactly. They stop looking outside themselves for validation or direction. They reject inherited values that don't resonate. They decide what is truly valuable, what gives life meaning for them, and then they carve their own path. No permission needed.
That sounds like ultimate freedom, but also ultimate responsibility. Both. Absolutely. If you want to be that person, you can't wait for instructions. You can't rely on external guidance system. You decide. It's hard, no doubt. It means letting go of the comfort of following the crowd, embracing uncertainty. But for Nietzsche, this was the only way to live a truly liberated life.
Because they're not driven by needing approval?
Not at all. The Übermensch isn't trying to fit in or win popularity contests. They're guided by their own internal compass, and that's what makes them free. When you stop needing external validation, you become, well, untouchable in a way. Fear, rejection, what society, none of it can control you. And ultimately, the only thing holding anyone back is self. Their own doubts, fears, excuses, those are the real change. But it's crucial to remember, becoming this Übermensch, it's not like flipping a switch. It's not a single moment. It's a process, continuous, lifelong, a journey of relentless self-overcoming. Nietzsche didn't really believe in final destination. Life for him was this constant state of becoming, always evolving, always striving to rise above who you were yesterday.
Okay, so hearing all this can feel pretty intense, maybe even urgent. You start recognizing things you need to change, fears to face, decisions to make.
Yes, and that commitment, that decision to act, that's everything. Because honestly, many people will hear these ideas. They'll feel inspired for a moment, maybe a day, but then they'll slip back in the old habits, the old comforts, the old fears.
So if you don't want to be one of those people, if you really want this, you have to act. What's the very first step? What can you do, like today, right now? Maybe it is facing that fear or making that call or just letting go of one excuse. Whatever it is, the key is don't wait, don't hesitate. Life's happening now. This moment is the opportunity.
Nietzsche wasn't writing for spectators. He wasn't writing for the passive or the undecided. He wrote for those ready to grab the wheel. To break free, to rise above.
And just by listening, by engaging with these ideas, you've already started that process. You've taken a step. So the only real question left is, will you continue? Because the answer to that question, that's going to define the rest of your life.